Hi guys, in this video we're going to form and solve a quadratic word problem. So reading this, it looks quite straightforward, although the numbers might be a little awkward. Let's have a look. The top and bottom of a rectangle are 5 centimeters longer than its side. Okay, so we have a rectangle, sides of which are x long, because we don't actually know. And the top and bottom are 5 centimeters longer. So we have x and an x plus 5, and the area, which means the length times width, is 204 centimeters squared. They want to calculate the lengths of the sides. Okay, so first step, we'll form the equation that gives us the area. We know it's a quadratic because it is an area problem, so we have an x for one side, and then if we multiply that by the other side, x plus 5, we get the area of 204. Okay, so it's a quadratic. We need to solve a quadratic equation, which means we need to do two things. We need to have it factorized, and we need it to equal 0. The first of which, of course, is making it equal 0. So even though we have a factorized form here, we've got to get this 204 over to the other side so it equals 0, which means we're going to have to expand and then factorize it again. So I'll start by expanding this side. X squared plus 5x, and that is equal to 204. Alright, so we're going to have to take away this to get it to 0 on both sides. So now we have x squared plus 5x minus 204 equals 0. Okay, so now we've got the quadratic equaling 0. We now need to factorize it, and my goodness, negative 204 and adding to 5. Okay, well, we do know we have a positive and a negative number, and that positive is going to be the bigger of the two because they add to a positive 5. So they're also going to be 5 apart, that means. Okay, so whatever is multiplying to 204 is going to have a difference of 5 between them. So we could start thinking about that. So if we had, say, a 14, and then if we take away 5 would be 9, that's not going to be enough. 15, it ends in a 4, 204, so it's not going to be a 15 because it has to end in a 0 or a 5. Okay, 16, so it would be 16 times 11 if it's 5 apart, and 1 times 6 is 6, so it's not going to be 16 either because 1 times 6 and it needs to have a 4, not a 6 at the end there. Let's try 17. This is probably what you'll do on your exam sheet all around it. So 17 and 5 is 12. Okay, so if we've got 17 times 12, 2 times 7 is 4, so it's starting to look good. So 14, and then 2 times 1 is 2, 3, so we have 34. It's looking good. 1 times 7 is going to be 7. There we go. And 1 times 1, yep, here we go. So 204. So we know that it's a 17 and a 12 that multiply to get to 204, and they're 5 apart. One's a negative, and so it's going to be a negative 12. So now we can rewrite this as x squared, and I'm going to put the 17 on this side. It actually isn't too hard from here because we already know what our factors kind of look like, but we'll do it this way anyway. I'm going to put my negative 12 there. Minus 204 equals 0. And yes, it kind of looks hard still, 12 and 204. How do we factorize that? But we know 12 times 17, so the work's already been done. So here we go. We split it in half. Factorize this, so I take out an x, and we have an x plus 17. Okay, and on this side, we need to turn this into a positive 17, so we're going to factor out that negative 12. We're left with an x, and we know it's times 17 to get 204. And that'll equal 0 now. Okay, so now we can put these into brackets. So we have an x minus 12 and an x plus 17 equals 0. Whoops, bracket there. And so x, when we solve this quadratic, must be 12 or a negative 17. Okay, so that's probably not our final answer. Let's go look at it again. So we need the length of the sides. Okay, first of all, it looks like x, because x is an individual length with no constant term on it, it's going to have to be a positive number. It can't be negative 17. You can't have a side length of negative 17. So this side length must be 12. So we have the side of 12 and the units, centimeters. And the top and bottom is 17. Yeah, is 17 centimeters. Okay, it's 12 plus 5.